What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God. Welcome to Redefining Possible. I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman. So excited for today's episode of Redefining Possible. Today, I have the honor of having an amazing Gen Z entrepreneur, Matt Hunein, on the show today. Matt, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
And okay, just for everybody to know, we are filming this like a day after Matt finished his finals. He is going to be a rising junior at USC. So, dude, thank you so much for jumping on.
Problem. I'm happy to. As long as finals are over, I can make anything happen. I appreciate you having me.
Exactly. Oh, I'm honored. So for folks who don't know you or don't know your an amazing business, Crzookie, that I'm a fan of, tell us a little bit about you, tell us a little about Crzookie, and where all this got started.
Perfect. Well, my name is Matthew Hunein. I am born and raised in Huntington Beach, California. Growing up, I always was interested in business. My parents owned businesses, and I, worked for my parents ever since I could remember. So I always had that entrepreneurial spirit. Then when I went to high school, I was in this business program called CIBAX. It stands for Center for International Business and Communication Studies. And each year is a project, like a year-long project that you do. So I ended up doing my senior year project, which is to create your own business on Crzookie, a cookie and ice cream dessert concept. And around the time that I was brainstorming the idea and what it would look like, there was a location open, like a 3-minute walk from my high school. So I was like, hey, fill a need, right? Like there's no ice cream in the area. It's going to be right next door to Chipotle. So find a need, fill the need is what they always taught us. So I went to my parents more as like business partners than parents, and I pitched them the idea.
Wow.
They really liked the idea, and they're like, all right, cool. So you're going to do everything. So I negotiated the lease with the lease agent. I helped my mom with the architecture and the floor plans. So going into it, construction wasn't really my thing. My mom handled that pretty much. All of the money that it cost to open Crzookie was my parents as well. But basically, like my role kind of started when we opened our doors in March of 2025. I was in charge of hiring, firing, scheduling, payroll, ordering, everything like that. I was in the shop basically like 16 hours, 7 days a week. I was also balancing 6 classes in college at the time. I was in community college at Irvine Valley College. So basically I would wake up, get some breakfast, go to work. And then once we would close at 10, I would hang around, make sure that everything was cleaned correctly, making sure that everything was accounted for and stuff like that. Split tips, do all of my manager operator stuff. And then I would do my homework and then go to sleep and do it all over again. So that was for about a year. And then this past fall, I had the honor of going to USC. I got accepted as transfer. So it was my first year. I was a sophomore. And it's been an amazing experience. I just finished my first year at USC, and I, can't imagine life without it. I'm so blessed to be able to have a business here, be able to go to USC and be surrounded by so many amazing people.
Gosh. Well, and there's so much about this that I want to touch on. Like just in that short intro, there is like point after point that I was like, what? So first of all, I didn't realize this had all started when you were still in high school. I knew the March 2025 launch, but I didn't realize, the backstory of you being in high school and saying, wait, I see a need, fill a need. I mean, that's such an incredible mindset to have so young, number one. And then also the fact that you approached your parents and basically pitched them at this business and said, hey, I see this being a thing. It's a great location next to Chipotle. Have some Chipotle, come get some ice cream and cookies. And just actually becoming business partners with your parents is wild. just what an incredible opportunity to be able to do that, first of all, but also what an, yeah, and what a safe like learning experience that, you had room to try and fail and learn in that, which is just wild to me. I mean, and it's grown. I mean, in the last year, I mean, Crzookie only what, a little over a year old. And talk about just the growth, like what's happened in the last year. I mean, it's tremendous.
First, I want to preface by saying it's a great point. I would be nothing, and I would be zero without my parents. Every opportunity, every success, every accomplishment that I've ever had is because of them. So I know I'm here as the owner of Crzookie, but I just want to give them, their shout out that I would be nothing without both of them and their support, and how amazing of parents they've been to me. But yeah, the growth of Crzookie, it's been pretty good. I mean, it was a pretty big thing in the community when it first opened. Obviously, you hear the story and people talk, and I was the student body president of my high school, so I would say I was known pretty widely throughout the community. People tell their parents, and parents tell their friends, and stuff like that. So, you kind of do a double take when someone tells you that a high schooler is opening up a business, especially like a brick
absolutely
like that. Or maybe you do a double take when your kid is going to go to a job interview and saying like the guy that I'm interviewing with like was in my math class last year. Like it's a little bit of a situation. So it's an interesting situation. A lot of the people that work for me I had classes with in high school. So it's a really interesting, unique situation, and it's been really amazing to kind of work through it and see how it goes. It's not typical manager owner thing. But the group is good. I mean, I stand by the fact that Huntington Beach is the best community of all time. Like everyone is so supportive of each other. Everyone, like they are like, you're a Huntington Beach business, which means you are us now. Like you are a part of us. We're going to come support you. And I've had so many people that have come in and say, I went to Edison when I was your age, and then I graduated and I came back and now I live here and my kids go to Edison and I come to your business every week because I can't have a business that started in the Cybax program of a kid that went to Edison fail. Because I can't, like people say, like they just can't let it happen. So the overwhelming support from people have just been amazing. I get recognized in public a lot. People are like, oh my God, it's the Crzookie guy. It's the cookie guy.
The Crzookie guy.
The Crzookie guy. So I would say the support is like just overwhelming. I never thought it would be anywhere close to where it is. And the growth kind of goes hand in hand with that. It's been growing at a rapid rate. Businesses aren't always profitable. Businesses aren't always successful. And I think that we're on a really good track to do both of those things. So yeah, I mean, I think that nothing I've done has made Crzookie amazing. Nothing we've done as a family has made Crzookie amazing. I really do think that the success of the business thus far is really just the community that's surrounding it and supporting it. And I think
I love that.
A little bit of a year in.
Yeah, I love that. And it's so important. It speaks to, I mean, I do ask a lot of my guests on the show here, about the importance of community. And you've already, touched on that. Like, honestly, Crzookie, it is a local business. It is a family-owned business. And it is, Huntington Beach, HB local. And so it's just here, it's a place that people are proud of and they want to be a part of. And like the story is also just amazing of, hey, this high schooler is going to be hiring me. Like what? So that's amazing too. But as you've been going through this journey, I mean, obviously you've been growing, you've been maturing, you're at USC, you started college and then obviously transferred to USC. You're getting ready to start next year, your third year at USC, your third year of college. How has this really changed just being a business owner, starting a business, being an entrepreneur at such a young age? How has this transformed or changed how you see yourself?
I'd say that, I've always been someone that's really ambitious. I've always been an ambitious kid growing up. And, being young and owning a business is seen as glamorous. A lot of people that are like, oh my God, you own a business, it must be so much fun. It must be so sick. Like you're living everyone's dream so young. And I'm like, sure. Yeah.
I was like, can we
until
laugh at that now
something
and
breaks,
say like,
until something breaks, or someone calls out when I want to go hang out with my friends. Like, it was really difficult
yeah,
balancing being a teenager, college kid, and a business owner.
yeah,
And I think of
yeah,
those three things, business owner kind of forced me to mature faster than
yep.
age. So I think that, it's been a really positive experience. And I think I look at that now, but it's been a positive experience because it's highlighted so many flaws that I have in my character.
Well, and to hear you talk about like the weaknesses that's helping to really shape in like, pull off in you of like you mentioned stubbornness or ego or which are in all of us. I mean, these are all things that we all have to have refined, and the Lord's so good at refining that, and he uses people to help refine those. And so I love that for you, part of this maturing process, part of this business owner process has been such a refinement that you probably always would have gotten, but might not have gotten right now because of what's happening.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree 100%. It's been a rocky road for the last, year and a little bit, but I think where I am right now, I wouldn't change anything.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you're deep in the work process with the Lord right now. Like it is. And speaking about that, because I know I get the honor, I should have told everyone how I've met you. Like I get the honor of getting to do volunteer work with Greek University at USC.
Yeah.
So I know Matt and several other USC students. And so that's how the honor of how I got connected with you. And then you were awesome and generous and brought cookies from Crzookie
Yeah.
up to some different USC nights that we had. And first of all, the cookies are ginormous. They're the size of my head. Like they're enormous,
Yes.
Matt. And I know like your family makes them. They're homemade. They're delicious. I had to split one. I was like, I cannot eat a whole thing. This is going to be a thing. This is going to be too much. But they're incredible. And it's just, I think that speaks to the quality of excellence that is in you, but it's also in your family and in your community and in your staff. And I think, just knowing that part of your story and knowing how the Lord has really been using Crzookie and just you being a business owner to refine character in you and refine pieces of your life and your heart and your mind. How has this changed your belief in the Lord? Like how has all of this, what has happened in that area of your life?
Absolutely. I think it's been like, it's been an acceleration for sure. Like,
Yeah.
like I went to this Bible study when I was in high school. And like, I remember every single day we would do, or every Wednesday, it was Bible study. Every Wednesday we would do like God moments. I would talk about, this is what's happening with Crzookie. This is what's happening with Crzookie. And like, I hired 4 of my employees from that Bible study room because they were just like, I need.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, you have one. Like I don't need to interview you. You just tell me your availability. You have a job. Like that was,
wow, Matt.
that was like, that was like a building place, I guess, for Crzookie, like a place to talk about what was going wrong and stuff. But when we the first idea, like it took us 4 months to negotiate, and then we signed our lease. And then from there, it took like 8 months for city permits to even start construction.
Right.
So
So you just sat for a while and waited.
I was 17 at the time, and I did not realize that entrepreneurship, I always like the social media version of entrepreneurship, which is like, take your future into your own hands and like, really pick yourself up by the bootstraps and work 24 hours a day. And, I'll go to sleep 1 minute before I went to sleep and keep on working, like that type of stuff. And it's just like, I have nothing to do, like I literally were just waiting week over week, month, months. And then after that, and I think during that time waiting I was still a senior in high school, that I relied on God a lot in that time because a lot of people, started doubting. They'd be like, nah, he's not doing that. He just wants clout. He just wants attention. He just wants this. So then people started doubting that it was even a thing. And it was like, just really nothing. There's nothing I could back them up with.
But you had nothing to show them. You couldn't be like, the city, it's been approved. It's actually going to come to life. I mean, and that's the tension of the in-between. Like when you're in that wait in any point of your life. I love that the Lord, like, he just threw you in the deep end, Matt. He really did. But I
Did.
love,
He said, learn how to
he
swim.
did. But
Yeah.
you had to learn how to swim. But it's good because you're in that, you had to continue to believe in the dream, even when other people didn't see it, even though there was nothing to tell you this was going to happen as well. Yeah, I mean, that's wow. What was that like? Just, I mean, you'd hear from friends like, oh, I don't know if this is actually going to happen, or, is it actually going to become something?
Looking back at it, probably a really good experience, now that I know who are
Yeah.
my real friends and who are not my real friends. But in the time, it
Uh,
sucked because it's your senior year, you want to
it's
have
so
fun, and it's
hard.
like you're known as the
Yeah.
guy that like is lying to everyone, like even though it's not right, it's not
Oh,
true.
wow.
It's kind of like, I don't know, it wasn't as bad as maybe as I'm making out to be, but it was just, it was just kind of rough. Like people that I, was expecting to support me, I
You're
expected
right.
support and came back with like hate basically. So, or doubt.
Why do you think that was? Like just listening to that, like it's, do you think you said the people who you thought would support you came back with hate? Was it because they, maybe they also saw that Instagram, like the instant, what we kind of think of as like the instant star type of, model? Like,
Yeah.
why do you think that was?
I
It was
mean,
like,
I don't
what
think
was
it's as
that?
much of that. Honestly, if I was them, I wouldn't have believed me either. Like this kid is saying,
Yeah.
"Oh, I'm opening up a business, I'm still going to go to college." And when I was in high school, I was not a good student. Like I barely graduated. Like I was in my
Wow.
counselor's
Wow.
office every week for the last semester. Like she's like, "You need to take this class. You make sure you pass this class. Like if you don't pass this class, you're not going to walk." Like, and it was like the first time ever,
Wow.
ASB president was on the border of not being able to walk because they made an
Yeah.
exception for me
Yeah.
to be ASB president below the GPA threshold that you needed. So
Wow,
it
Matt.
was like
Wow.
I pulled some strings there, but I was liked by some people. But still, it was like
Yeah.
that's where they were looking at me and being like, this guy obviously has grade problems, and he's going to go to community
Yeah.
college, but he's going to go open up a business. Like, what does he know about business? Like, what is he going to do? Like, how does
Wow.
so I was kind of down. Like there was no really like
Yeah.
um there's like no future for me basically. Like if you knew me as a junior in high school, you would
Wow.
have been like, wow, he's a good kid, nice guy, personable, but future wise, like probably not the brightest future. Like probably not going to go to a
Wow.
good school, probably
Wow.
not going to be super super successful. So
Yeah.
that was kind of where I was. And, I was the kid getting a Saturday school. I was the kid skipping class. I was the kid that, just didn't really care about school, would have zeros and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have believed me either. So I can't really get at them, but
Yeah.
it's just like, even I feel like the best of friends are the ones that support you when
Yeah.
you wouldn't support yourself. And I have those friends, and being able to
Yes.
look back at
Yeah.
that time and say, if I were them, I wouldn't have believed me, but they still chose to believe in me and they still chose to support me. Those are friends that you keep with you for a long
Yeah.
time.
No, it's huge. It's huge. And it's transforming. And you have to have those people that will get in the trenches with you and help you build, because you can't build alone, but they're going to help you build. They're going to keep you encouraged. They're going to keep saying, hey, we know this is going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. And, we all need those people in every area of our life, honestly. It's whether it's career, whether it's business, whether it's ministry, whether it's marriage, whether it's whatever it is, it's like you have to have those people that walk by your side. And I think what I think is so amazing is that, this in the Christian circles, we'll call this like the pruning process of like basically taking something, but, cutting it back severely so that it can flourish. And, in gardening terms. And that's, to me, that's what sounds like you went into, so that you were only building with the right people beside you. But I have to say that's probably incredibly painful. And I'm so sorry, but it's like, yeah, it incredibly painful to go through that process. And to realize like, hey, not, wow, like these people, I thought they believe in me. And like you said, I mean, I love it to look at you, on paper at, in high school, it would have been like, okay, high school kid, strike one, not great academically, strike two, like, has never run a business before, doesn't know how to run a business, strike three. Like there would have been on paper these things that would look like, how on earth, like who is this kid? And, the least of these type of situation. And what I love is that the Lord turned it around and was like, no, this is the one I choose. Like, this is going to be. And so it is such a God story because he took you and is like, no, I'm giving him a business. I trust him with this. And the one that people thought, oh, wouldn't, that's what the Lord's done through the whole Bible. It's like the one people discount is the one that actually is the one that does something amazing. Have you had that revelation or that thought of just, hey, we've gone from the least of these to somebody, the one that the Lord would have chosen? Like, has that kind of hit you at all in the last couple of years?
It actually hit me in like the last couple of weeks, the last maybe month or so.
Wow.
I was reading a book called The Cost of Discipleship.
Okay, great book. Dietrich.
Book, yes. And yeah, I mean, I had a talk with my dad as well, like a really father-son talk. And my dad is probably the wisest man that I know. So he really just gave me, a little bit of insight. He was like, when I was your age, I was the same way. He was like, we are literally the same person. And he goes, I went down the path of ego and pride and stuff like that. And he's like, I don't want that for you. And I was really he's probably the greatest mentor I could have possibly asked for. So he kind of, and then I started reading the book and I kind of realized, it's like, you really have to understand that everything that I have, God has given me. And I always hear them say like, practice gratitude. And I'm like, I tried to, and it's like not really working. Like, I'm grateful for this day. I'm grateful for this, but I kind of switched my thinking recently, and it's been a really freeing feeling. It's been a really humbling feeling as well of like God is letting me steward this day.
Yes, and letting them play with it.
But when I want to take my phone back, I can take my phone back. Like, I can, and I've seen that in like literally just like the worst days. Like 2 nights ago, I went to sleep at 12:30 and I woke up at 3:30 because I needed to study for my final. And waking up, I was like, God, thank you so much for letting me steward this struggle. Thank you for letting me steward this stress. Thank you for letting me steward this horrible feeling that I'm so tired right now and I'm so sleep deprived. Thank you for letting me steward this opportunity of education. Even though, realistically speaking, I'm not really thankful for any of that stuff because I would rather not have to go through it. But saying it out loud, it really centers you of God could have just not woken me up, So when you have your base, you become thankful for a lot of things, Bad days where, I late or I missed something, I could have not even woken up today. So knowing that, you're thankful for everything that happens because God chose to wake you up, which means God still has a purpose for you.
I love this mental shift that you're having too, of just because you're like, people talk about the art of gratitude and it's hard and, I don't know, but actually what you're doing, it is gratitude. You're living in gratitude. And so it doesn't have to be some big aha, but you're looking at it and acknowledging like, okay, this is a struggle. Okay, I only got 3 hours of sleep, but also thank you, Lord, that I got those 3 hours of sleep so that I can now be better prepared for my finals. Thank you, Lord, for waking me up so I'm going to make it to my final on time and I'm not sleeping through my final. Like, there's just so many ways to examine that. And I think that just makes you a more humble, you're starting to live in gratitude, which is actually what people are talking about. I mean, that's the goal. The goal is to live in it so that you're just in that place of thankfulness really all the time, or as much as you can be. And that's tremendous. How has that changed you, just the people around you? Have they noticed this? I mean, this is a shift.
My parents have noticed it, I think. They've been like, you seem a little bit more humble lately. And I'm like, thanks, I guess. God works in mysterious ways. They're like, wow, how did this happen? But yeah, my parents have realized it. I feel like I've always tried to be humble outwards to people that aren't my family. I think that humility is probably an issue for me inside of my family. I don't think people outside of my family have really realized it or anything, but I feel like it's something that's more intrinsic. Like I think it's more
Hmm.
of a, you can do the same action, but you can do them for two different reasons, and you'll
Yeah.
get the same result. And I think that shifting from putting so much pressure on
Yeah.
myself and like controlling everything in my life to even like the smallest things,
Ooh.
giving them, not
Yeah.
even giving them to God, because I feel like that's really difficult, but just being grateful for them. Like the smallest little things of
Yeah.
like, you know, just back to it. Like that's my go-to in my head now is just like, Lord, thank you for letting me
Mm.
steward blank. Like if it's good, if it's bad,
Yeah.
small, if it's big, like, and I feel like that's helped me like emotionally. I feel like disconnect from Crzookie, disconnect from school, and also disconnect
Yep.
myself from like I'm a person that's super achievement oriented. Um, so like
Yeah.
I need the next achievement, and then I like lose my purpose, and then I need my next achievement, and I lose my purpose. So I think like
Mm.
having that like gratitude mindset has helped me like separate myself from those like that achievement
Yeah.
mindset, and more connect myself to with just like the mindset of being a follower, being the sheep,
Yeah.
and just being led. And I know that if I let
Ah,
him,
it's so
he'll
good.
lead me to more achievements, of course. um,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just understanding that
Well, and
everything he gives me is just on my path.
it's true. Well, and it's such a great way to look at it too. You're talking about, thank you, Lord, for letting me steward this, understanding, hey, it's not yours, it's his. And you're basically the vessel he's working through to do this piece. And, it's his choice. And like you said with the iPhone example, like you can give your iPhone to a friend and let them play with it, or a little kid and let them play with it, and then you take it back. And so it is his to give, it's his to take back. And just you're in this thing like, thank you for this experience, thank you for training me, thank you for teaching me. Like, he's I've always heard like God cares more about character than comfort. And it's true. It's like he is shaping your character deeply in this, and to the point that you're the closest people to your family are noticing. And that's a tremendous, and you're noticing. And I think that's a tremendous, tremendous thing, to be able to say to people like what in this process, because there's a bunch of Gen Z folks that are going to be watching this, and I'm like, that's about me, but I'm so passionate about what the Lord's doing right now in Gen Z and just in this generation. Like he is on fire for this generation. And so I am on fire for this generation because the Lord is on fire for this generation. So for you, it like, let's say other entrepreneurs, guys and girls that are watching this, they have a dream, they have something the Lord's put on their heart. Like what piece of advice would you give them in that process? Like, what would you share with them?
I would say like first and foremost, like just trust in the Lord, give your dreams, give your hopes,
Yeah.
give your aspirations, give your anxieties, give your fears, literally just put it
Yeah.
all at his feet and he will do what he does with them. But I feel like
Yeah.
the first thing is, Jesus gives us stuff. Jesus gives us everything. He gave us
Yeah.
this day. He gave us this podcast. He gave us everything we have. So
Yeah.
I think the thing is for him to give you something is for you to have to like trust him with it. So
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say that's the number one thing. And like growing up, I always wanted to own a business. Like always. Like that was like I was like
Yeah.
fiending for it. But I always thought I was too young. I always thought I was like, I
Right.
tried to do lemonade stands. I tried to do drop shipping. I tried to do Amazon FBA. I tried to do eBay. I tried to do reselling. Like every business, like that was what I would like be consumed with, was just like, how do I start a business?
Wow.
And once Crzookie
Wow.
started, I'm like, all right, this is my opportunity. Like God gave me my opportunity for this, um,
Yeah.
at such a young age. But I think that for young entrepreneurs, that whether you started a business or you want to start a business or something like that, I think um, you know like the opportunity will present itself in God's timing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of people have asked me like, I want to start a business and I'm 17 or 18, and I'm like, you know what? Honestly, the door, like I can't say yes or no, but the door probably won't open for you like it has for me. And I know how blessed I am that that
Yeah.
door is open for me. Um, but
Yeah.
just the thing is my parents always tell me, knock on the door, and if it opens, go in. But then if it doesn't
Yeah.
open, then just go to the next door and knock on that door, and then just keep on going until God opens a door for you. And then once you go through that door, you find another door
I
and you knock
love
on that.
that.
So I would say just
Yeah.
knocking on doors. Like just if you want to own a business, start a
Mm.
business. Like there's AI these days. There's you can code
Yeah.
your own app within like in a day. You can code your own website. There's so
Yeah.
many different ways to start a business these days that it might not be something you're passionate about, but once you start a business and you understand, if you, number one, like being a business owner,
Right.
number two, you learn it. There's learning in everything you do. So my piece of advice that I would just say, number one, above everything else, just put your trust in God, and he'll provide for you like he always does. Number two, I would say go out and do something. Go out and start something, try to build something. And it might be hard, it might be difficult, but like I had a friend that said she wanted to start a coffee shop, and then she was enough money to coffee shop. And I was like, have you ever just decided to like buy liquid espresso and then make coffees for people with, liquid espresso? You don't even need a machine. And then from there you can, with your profits, buy a machine. And then from there, with your profits, you can buy a cart. And then from there, with your profits, you can buy a truck. And then from there, you can build up to where, you can actually buy it. You actually lease out a place and buy the equipment and stuff. But I'm like, you need to just start like microscopic if you're going to start young, I think.
That's such a good advice. And I mean, you hit on a couple of things that I just want to call out because they're so wise. Number one, obviously, like, go to the Lord with it first. Have faith in God, have faith in like that if this is a dream he's put on your heart, it's a dream he's going to provide in some way, and don't limit how he provides it. Like, he provided you with a building, like a space, and then family that would back you up too. And so everybody's story is going to look different. And that's important because it's the Lord showing different ways in how he can work and what he can do. So I love your advice of like, just start, because if you don't try, you're never going to launch a business. So you have to start somewhere. And, I love the advice of like starting microscopic. And with the coffee, I wouldn't have thought of 18 steps to go. I start with liquid espresso, then go to this. And so that's, maybe sometimes you can get caught up in the big dream, and then it's like, okay, wait, let's scale down. Where do I start? What is my next step? And I love that, because you didn't know what Crzookie was going to be. You didn't know, hey, we're going to have ice cream, we're going to have cookies, it's going to be this dessert place. You just kind of knew like, oh, there's a void, there's a space, like we should do this. Like this would be, but it wasn't, you didn't know all the steps you're going to have to go through. You didn't know what it was like to manage a team or hire a team or build, like you just had no idea what that was. You couldn't have known. And so I think there's so much that you just have to learn along the way. And with this, I think what's special about, because there are so many young entrepreneurs that have big dreams and can think that their age is a limiting factor. And I love your story because it's like, no, you're never too young to start a business. You're never too old to start a business. You're not like, you can start at any time. You can start dreaming with the Lord and walking out those dreams at any point in your life.
Exactly. Yeah. 100%.
I love that. I love that. For you, just over the last couple of years, was there a moment where, speaking of like we're dreaming big, we're jumping into these things, was there ever a moment where things just looked impossible, where you were like, was it going through or that time of waiting on the permits that it felt impossible, or was there another time where it just felt like, am I really supposed to do this? Or did you just always know? You just had the confidence?
I would say like before we opened, for sure.
Okay.
That was before my confidence was built. So
yeah,
I would say that, before we built, like going through like what we were talking about earlier, like people were doubting the fact that it was real, or the fact that I was the owner, or, that those types of things. And like the permits taking so long, construction taking so long. Like there was points where like I would tell my mom, I'd be like, it's just never going to open. Like it's just not going to happen. Like just cut our losses, like it's just we're never going to get there.
Yeah.
Because we were supposed to open in like September 24, and then we were like December 24, and then it was like, all right, January 25, and then February 25, and then we ended up opening in March. So we delayed.
Wow.
Yeah, like 6 months or something like that.
Wow. No, more than that. If you're September 2024 to March 2025 is like a year and basically a year and a half, actually. Exactly. So, wow. So 18 months that's a whole different scale of like that. You had 18 months that you could give up, and wow.
Yeah, it was, like we were really late on it. Like it was only supposed to take us like 2 to 3 months for construction, and it took us like a year and 2 months.
Wow. And that's wild. That's an important lesson though for people is that it will take longer than you think it's going to take. It is going to be harder than you think it's going to be. And that is part of the process. And it's not a sign to give up. It's a sign that actually this is what you're called to do. So, like, it being hard or it taking longer than you thought it was going to take is actually not necessarily a sign to walk away. It's a sign to like lean in more and say, like, no, this is actually because that's the warfare. It's like that's the sign of, hey, actually, this is the thing I'm called to do. I'm called to create. And I need to really double down on my faith in this moment.
Yeah, it pokes at your weaknesses. Like I'm a
Wow.
type of person that needs to be go, go, go
Yeah.
all the time. And,
Yeah.
you know, I had to wait 2 years for us to open, whereas 2 years of me not being able to go, go, go is the only thing that I like to do. I'm always like a
Wow.
schedules packed type of guy.
Yeah.
So, maybe
Yeah.
someone else has a different weakness that it points to. It might not always be waiting super long or something like that. But for me,
Mm-hmm.
that was something where I grew a lot in that time because I had to learn how to be patient. And when I did my final presentation for my senior project, in my presentation, they were like, "What's the number one thing you've learned as an entrepreneur?" It was the biggest business that they've ever done in that program, and I was like,
Wow.
"The number one thing you need to have as an entrepreneur is patience."
Yes, it's true. And patience with people. I mean, patience with the Lord, patience with yourself, patience with the process, and patience with other people. Because when you get into that dynamic of dealing with other people as well, that is a big, yeah, that's a big refinement of patience as well. It's just, yeah. So talk about like next steps for you, for Crzookie. Like, what are you dreaming for? What are you hoping for? Where do you want this to go?
Yeah, I think Crzookie can be big. I'm still that ambitious kid that was working for my dad at a pizza shop and or at our pizza shop. I'm still that ambitious kid. I'm at USC now, so I just want Crzookie to be running well while I'm gone. I still run it from
Yeah.
school. I still do all that stuff, but it's just not the same where you can't be there. So
Right, right.
graduating,
Every day.
enjoying,
Yeah.
trying to enjoy every second of USC because it's such a blessing to be there. But also, the second I
Yeah.
graduate, I'm gonna be like, I'm out of here. I got a business to go run. So
Yeah.
it's just kind of like, again, like God has me waiting. So learning
Yeah.
how to enjoy
Well, and
the waiting time, the waiting period.
waiting and working though. So it's and dreams, I mean, are you dreaming of more locations? Are you dreaming of like what's like the big dreams that are next in your heart?
Yeah, more locations, more locations. Open up Crzookie number 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
Franchise Crzookie publicly. Anyone can open up Crzookie in their hometown if they want to. That's the dream. Is I see Crzookie. Um, you know, I see Crzookie at 100 locations. I see Crzookie at 200, 300, 400
Yeah.
locations. I think that
Yeah.
the sky is the limit, and I think that until that happens, I know it's going to be a really long-term goal to get
Yeah.
Crzookie up there, but I just know that um, with the cards God has given me, I think that it's possible.
Yeah.
With going to USC, which is just such an amazing school, being USC Marshall
Hmm.
business student, having the opportunity to possibly get my master's in entrepreneurship, being just so many opportunities at USC for entrepreneurs. The
Yeah.
network that comes with USC, the alumni network, is second to none.
Yeah.
Such amazing group of people that are there. Everyone's always willing to help. And then also, I think that
Yes.
my family as well. I would be nothing without my family. Crzookie would be
Yeah.
nothing without my family as well. And there's just no growth
Yeah.
potential for Crzookie without my family. So being able to have such an
Hmm.
amazing family, such a tight knit family as well, I can
Yeah.
rely on them whenever I need to. Um, it's just that's God has given me such an amazing group of people, to
Yeah.
go through this journey with. And yeah, I just think that putting my faith in God going forward. I mean, I'm ready and accepting with whatever God has for me and whatever God has for Crzookie. But
Yeah.
my personal dream
Yeah.
is, you know, franchising a bunch of locations, and
Yeah.
really making Crzookie like known nationwide. Um, and
Wow.
yeah, I think that's where I am right now. But obviously it says in the Bible, not mine, but your will be done. So I have to just, kind of humble myself at his feet and understand that that might be what I want, but I'm not attached to that outcome.
And also just knowing like it's okay to dream big. And, as this, even just going through this, I'm sure it's shifted just what you believed is even possible for your life. This is to see God's faithfulness in this. Has that just completely changed things for you?
Yeah, 100%. Like I was just doing Bible study a couple weeks ago, and it was when Jesus calls Matthew from the tax stand.
Yeah.
It says that like a crowd was following him, but then he goes to the tax collector and says, "Follow me," and he drops his stuff and follows him. And I was wondering, I'm like,
yes,
there was probably so many people more apt for the job of being a disciple than Matthew, the tax collector, but he still chose Matthew. He still chose like the least of these is what he does in the Bible, the lower down. The least people that, you would expect. And I look at myself and I'm like, I'm just, still the kid that like failed algebra 2 in high school. Like, but now I go to USC. How does that make any sense? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like I had a teacher come into Crzookie the other day. He's like, are you still in school or are you just working here? And I was like, oh no, I go to USC. He's like, huh? And I was like, I go to USC.
Wow.
Matt, don't joke. I was like, no. I go to USC, I promise. He's like, man, how did you pull that off? And I was like,
wow.
Like, I am still the kid that, was getting a Saturday school and had 50 absences and not a good GPA and had to go to community college. Like that I'm still the same guy. And, looking back at my past and where God has brought me, I just understand that flip of, just such rapid success so quickly is just nothing I could have ever done, and I feel like it's humbling to know that. But it's really a humbling feeling to know that really none of the success that I've achieved is been me. I'm kind of just riding the wave here, but I know it has to be him.
Yeah.
There's no other.
And I love the Lord's faithfulness to you in this too, of just like giving you a dream, planting it in your heart, and then being faithful to bring it to fruition so that you can share that with others. And, like you said, the comparison, I think I said something earlier about, the Lord picks the least of these. And I love that you brought up the example of Matthew because he does that over and over and over again. He picks someone that definitely would not have been chosen by others. And the Lord's like, no, that's the one, because I want to show that I'm the one doing this and not him. And so I love how much of your story and that you recognize that all of this just points back to the Lord, which just makes me so happy. And I love it. I love that I get to like walk along this journey with you and other students at USC. It's just like the most fun. It's so incredible. And I'm so proud of you. Okay. Tell people if they want to connect with you, if they want to partner with you, if they want to know more about Crzookie, like how can they reach you? What's the best way for them to connect with you?
You can reach me at Crzookie on Instagram, CRZOOKIE on Instagram. You can DM, you can look at all of our content. I'm on there somewhere. You can also email us at info@crzookie.com, info@CRZOOKIE.com. Those are the two best places to reach me or to collab with Crzookie. Perfect. You could also find me at my first and last name on Instagram.com or at Instagram. So you can do like at Matthew Hunein on Instagram. That's my personal Instagram as well. So if you want to me personally, I'm also on the email.
I love it.
If you want to email me, you can email me. If you want to DM, you can do either of the accounts. I'm on both of them, so I'll see one of them.
It's so good. I love it. Well, and this is so fantastic because I know there's so many young entrepreneurs that I can see from this that are going to want to reach out. They're going to want advice. They're going to want to say like, hey, can I learn more about your story? So I just really see this as like a launching for you and a really beginning of some really incredible things. And we've talked about them off camera and I'm excited for you. It's going to be really, really fun. And I just can't wait to see what God has next for you. So Matt, thank you so much for joining us today. Oh my goodness. It's been such an honor to have you. And we'll need to do a part 2, part 3, just as things evolve. It's going to be, I just know it's the beginning. So it's going to be really fun.
Absolutely.
I love it. Well, thank you all again so much for joining us today. Again, I'm your host, Peyton Hoffman. I have loved having you today. Join us on Redefining Possible, and I cannot wait to see you all next time.
What happens when the thing you've barely dared to dream for actually comes true? How does it change you when what you've been believing for and almost given up hope on finally becomes reality? The Redefining Possible podcast spotlights guests with stories of insurmountable odds who have witnessed the impossible become possible with God.